Star Trek, yeah.
Hello and happy time zone, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Watching Now, discussing episode 3 of season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, titled Shuttle to Kinfori. My name is Michelle. I was here last week. You saw me. You loved me. And I will be hosting again today. With me, I have the auspicious Drew and the ever-enchanting Tim. How are you doing today, Drew?
I'm good. Well, I mean, you know, technical difficulties aside, I'm good. We have this amazing studio here at Red Riff Films, and I can't get shit to fucking work. So I'm I'm just gonna vent for about 45 seconds. You can cut all this out. I'm excited to talk about Star Trek though. I'm not excited to talk about cameras and plugins, but we'll get into that another day. Star Trek, yeah. Star Trek Zombies.
Okay, hold on.
Let's do this.
How about you, Tim? How are you today, sir?
Well, clearly I am much better off than Drew, and I will take that happily. I'm in a great mood, so yeah.
Me too. You know, Tim and I have just been chatting. It's been a great time, actually.
Well, you've been hanging out while
Yeah,
I've been
we're just hanging out. And
Pretty much.
Drew
We're
gets
just sitting
on
here talking.
spitting fire. It's going to be good.
That's
Thank you both for being here. I'm glad you are making it, Drew. You'll make it with the mouse.
Yes.
I do want to make it clear to our audience that there will be spoilers for this season, as always. So if you want to watch it without knowing anything, which I do highly recommend, minus this episode, it will become increasingly difficult as time moves on through this episode. So tune out now. Otherwise, let's boldly go. All right, we need initial reactions. Tim, I'm going to start with you because you have zero background of Star Trek except for the most recent. You're the most recent person into the Star Trek universe. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was rather meh. So preface that meh with the knowledge that I don't like zombies. I think zombies are just boring.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with zombies in it that I've ever really liked was the movie Zombieland, which I thought was hilarious.
I've never seen it because I don't give a shit about zombies. Sorry.
Honestly, you don't need to enjoy zombies to enjoy that movie. That's how good it is, in my opinion. And Jesse Eisenberg is one of the few times I've seen him on screen where I was like, I enjoyed him. I would watch another movie with him. I don't really care for zombies. So the whole zombie vibe of the planet Kinfori, I was excited to get Klingons and then not to have Klingons really. I mean, we have Klingons, but we don't have Klingons. I don't know. It just, I don't know. It was a solid 5 out of 10 for me.
Hey,
burying the lead. I like it.
You're welcome.
Well, I am not going to give you my interpretation yet. Hey, Drew, what did you think of last night's episode?
I liked it. It's classic Star Trek episode of the week. I think it's cool. I mean, it's got here's the deal. I like it when they kind of split off. Two characters split off, have their the main storylines about two characters that we get to learn a little bit more about those two characters, and then the ship itself has its own B plot scenario that they're trying to get through. I kind of dug it. It's got a little horror vibe. It had a little bit of action sci-fi. Bringing the Klingons in was pretty cool. I thought a callback with Benga from earlier season. I think that's really cool. We always knew he was a badass, and he once again proves that. And then, I'm in on the zombie stuff. I like zombies. I like all zombie shows. I like zombie movies. I like the episode of Enterprise that focused on space Vulcan zombies. Listen, I think zombies are pretty cool, and I thought it was a nice introduction and episode of the week kind of vibe. So I'm here for it. It kind of reminds me why Starfleet's out there. It's because there's random cool shit on planets, and that's why we go down there and then pew pew some of that stuff.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap up today's episode, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's right.
Well, would you look at the time? We've got a thing to catch.
I'm almost fully out of wine. No, I'm just kidding.
One secondary question for my review. What was up with Unich Riley's hair?
Bro, why was she in a... I'm sorry, can I start yet?
I guess. Let's just...
She had like the bagel. She had like the bagel thing going around her head.
Why was she in a headdress? What is happening? What was this episode? It was like a flipping football team, I swear to you. Are we even watching the same show that we've been watching? What happened to the writing? What happened to the photography, the cinematography, the directing? This episode does not need to exist in the Strange New Worlds timeline. It can just... This episode can fuck right off. I don't even have my Enterprise on. I have a red microphone because what the fuck? My friend and I, who has been my Star Trek person, go-to person, you know, Drew, like you have Chris for Lord of the Rings, right? Yes. Star Wars. Sorry. Wait.
Both.
Okay. I have a Star Trek guy. We were both, I've known him since we were 3. We were in 4-H doing Star Trek projects together when we were in like 3rd grade. We were both like anger texting. We were shouting at each other over text over what was happening with this freaking episode. What happened?
What do you mean what happened? You want me
Why
to walk
do we
through
need
the plot?
zombies in Star Trek? First
what do you
of all,
mean? That it's not. Okay, go ahead. Rant.
All right, I have a
Finish
question.
your rant. Finish your rant.
But well, I got to get into the first question because with the Klingon storyline, Tim, you mentioned that Mbenga was basically freaking air tagged by this Klingon, right? She was this Klingon princess fight north of the wall that happened with all of the zombies around them because they basically looked like whites from Game of Thrones. The Klingon storyline with the Enterprise and Mbenga and Pike. Those were 2 different Klingons, right? Like they were not together. Meaning, you have the Klingon princess fight at the planet in north of the wall, and then you had the Klingon warship that the Enterprise was trying to get away from. But those were 2 completely different things that just happened to be the same species.
No,
right?
you see the shuttle launch from that D5. You see the shuttle.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
She said she had to I had to beg to break off and come and to have them come here so I could have my revenge.
I took that as she was completely on her own, and then the Enterprise found this Klingon warship.
Yeah, she said she had to grovel to get the ship.
I know, but I thought that meant something completely different. Okay.
No. You see the shuttle. There's a moment where the shuttle leaves the D5
I missed
and
that.
goes down to the planet. Yeah.
That makes more sense. Okay, you guys can respond to my rant because what is happening?
No, go ahead, Tim. I mean, I feel like you and Tim are on the same page here. I'll feel like I'm on the lone planet and running from zombies trying to defend.
Well, so here's the difference though. I don't think Michelle will ever watch this episode again. I don't think that I would mind watching the episode again. I don't have a problem with it. It's just I'm just saying it would not be if I'm going to point somebody to Star Trek Strange New Worlds and say this is the show you should watch. Here's an episode for you. This would not be the episode where I'd sit somebody down to say this is the one. And mainly that's because my lack of interest in zombies and everything else. I did like the storyline of Mbenga and showing off who he was, what he was, and his character growth where he said, I don't need to be that man today.
Oh, I loved that.
I did like that. There's other things that we can get into about this episode that I like as well, because you have it for later, and we can talk about that later. Some of the other things that were happening. So I thought the cinematography in this episode was great for what it was. Yeah. The storyline, I liked the storyline up until the point of zombies and you killed my father, prepare to die.
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die.
And Mbenga needed to have a 6th finger on his right hand. That's just all there is to it.
That would have been nice.
Listen, I loved him showing off his skills. He is a badass MFer. I would not mess with that man. That was really cool to see him, basically put down the Klingon. But except
I will break you, then I will fix you.
Correct. Yeah. That was cool, I suppose. And Pike was just a lump on the log in the corner.
Well, he got stabbed in the leg.
But he didn't act. He was just like, oh, that hurts. Oh, okay, I'm fine. I'll just watch.
Yeah, okay. You get stabbed in the leg with with a Klingon dagger and see how you're walking around.
I'm like, I don't think you're moving all that fast after that one.
Yeah. I hear you guys, and I agree, Tim. I don't think this. I like if someone's like, watch Strange New Worlds, and I don't think I would pick this episode either. But that said, I mean, there's always Star Trek episodes that kind of go into the kind of, hey, we're gonna do this random thing, and I'm kind of here for it. I don't mind. Like Star Trek could do whatever they want. Zombies, sure, they want to do. I mean, guys, they have more weird shit has happened on Star Trek than zombies. Okay, like, so let's not get all highbrow here and say that zombies aren't like good enough for Star Trek. So, and again, Enterprise did it, and I actually thought the episode of Enterprise with the Vulcan zombies was actually more terrifying than this one. But I thought it moved well, and I'm glad it'll be. I hope we kind of get over the Gorn laid eggs and we're trying to fix Pike's girlfriend thing. I'm a little over that storyline. I was kind of hoping we nipped it in the butt last week, but here we are again, bringing it back up, and kind of gives us a reason to go find this magical plant that on this deserted planet. Yeah, it is what it is.
Boring.
I get it. The setup was kind of like, well, okay. But once we're in it, I kind of dug it. I liked that they brought the Klingons into it. It made it more. The zombies were just sort of like fodder, where like something to move the plot along. Where it was really about M'Benga and the Klingons, and then the B story with number one and Ortega. Yeah,
Ortega's.
Yeah. So. And I didn't mind that either. I'm glad they finally kind of got through that as well, like that, her dealing with the fallout of being injured from the Gorn in that battle, and how she's dealing with that, not wanting to leave anybody behind. Again, I thought everything structurally was it was good. It was a good episode structurally. Could have been better, sure, but I thought there were good character moments, and that's what I like about Star Trek is we have these really good character studies in between the action bang bang and the silly wedding stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay, so you mentioned that Star Trek does some weird shit. Yes, and if we have one of those episodes from, like, I don't know, Next Generation or Deep Space Nine or Voyager, you're just like, it was the 90s, like, what else are they going to do? We are in 2025, y'all. Like, why are we going to zombies? Let's move to...
Because zombies are popular in pop culture. And so there's enough other zombie shows, movies, books, comic books,
they
video
literally
games.
should have just had Mance Raider, in my opinion.
I mean, I get why they would go to zombies, because it will scratch the itch for actually a large number of people in pop culture. Not me, but
yeah, and I understand that the rarity of this flower means that there's obviously going to be some tumultuous environment that they have to go into to get it. But zombies, like, we can't think of a better Star Trek plotline.
I could have done. If we wouldn't have had the zombies, I would have liked to have seen them, just M'Benga and Pike, fighting against the Klingons, just head to head, without the "you killed my father, prepare to die" moment, and just kind of move forward with that. I would have rather seen that, because I think that was actually, even at that, it was still kind of a cool storyline where she wanted to get revenge and all these things, and that would have been cool to get honor back for her family and her family name and all those things. There could have been a really cool plot line and storyline with that if they had developed that a little bit more. But it was as it was. I kind of felt like that part of the storyline with the Klingons was kind of shoehorned in, as far as how that was all dealing with, and then just it's like, well, we got the Klingons here, so what are we gonna do with them? Oh, hey, let's bring in the daughter of the guy that M'Benga killed on the Enterprise, and let's get her some revenge. Yeah, okay, yeah, you want to do that, Bob? Yeah, Bob, let's do that. Okay, let's do it. That's kind of how I felt. But like that one went.
We didn't need it. So, from your opinions, especially Drew, why was this episode helpful? What did it progress? We already knew M'Benga was a badass. We know they're trying to fucking solve whatever fucker face's thing is, and we know Ortega's is dealing with some PTSD. Did we actually need that though?
It's pushing the Battelle storyline.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You're not wrong. I don't think we learned a whole bunch more But I do think the last episode where Mbega did assassinate that, and it kind of left it open. The episode was pretty open ended too on how it.
That's
the way
true.
the way it showed him like that fight. You don't really know what happened, and you kind of assume he killed him based on like how he was like kind of the episode was building towards. So like on one side, you're sort of like as a viewer, you're like, I think he murdered that Klingon on that ship. But obviously the end of the episode ends like it was self-defense, right? And you're kind of like, oh, okay, because obviously that's like a pretty morally gray like decision like thing that's going on there, especially considering he's a doctor, which is actually kind of interesting. You have kind of like this war doctor who's like essentially almost like an assassin in his capabilities and like in his skill sets. Like he's even said is like I've killed more Klingons than I can remember. I mean it's kind of an interesting thing, like an interesting
Dichotomy.
character. Yeah, and I don't know. He's a really interesting character on Star Trek, and I really like him. I actually think it'll be interesting to how, because obviously he disappears before the Kirk era, and it'll be interesting to see where that character ends up after season 5. But I really like and I like that Pike has kind of someone on his level, like on a friendship level, versus someone that's like kind of like just another, not another person on a ship, but like
Another
an
crew
ensign
member.
another crew member. Yeah, like that he can it kind of feels like that's his bones to Scotty, right, or to Kirk, right, and they're kind of building
sure.
they're building that relationship, but he's clearly different than Bones and has like this morally gray side of him, which I find fascinating for sure.
I do agree with you. Go
I agree.
ahead, Tim.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say I agree with Drew on that. I love the fact that here's the doctor, the do no evil, and then there's the war doctor side of Mbego, which is do all the evil, and then you see that friendship developing between him and Pike. And I like the line at the end of the end of the episode when they're talking about him killing the Klingon on the ship, and he says, "Well, are you going to report me?" He goes, "Who am I talking to? Am I talking to my friend or my captain?" And I thought that was kind of a telling moment between the two of them. And then I like Pike's response. Well, since we were never on Ken-4, it never happened, so don't worry about it.
That was the scene I was actually going to point out. I enjoyed that dialogue because it was very, excuse me, it was very relatable. Think about you with your boss. Sometimes you just want to be like, hey, are we still kind of cool on that side? Or, it was very relatable in a sense of, am I your friend or am I your captain, dependent on the situation? And I just kind of appreciated that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Speaking of am I your captain or a friend, we had Ortega's and her insubordination with her PTSD and the Gorn and the Klingons and all of that jazz. So how did you feel about her punishment and the way number 1 specifically handled it? Tim, I think I gave you the last question. Let me go to Drew first.
You did, yeah.
As far as the way number 1 handled it, perfect.
I agree, actually.
It's why Star Trek is. You almost forget that it's a military or like structured organization, right? And being disobeying orders or unwillingly doing what you're being asked to is sort of like basically doesn't fly, right? And I know we like to think of Star Trek as like the pinnacle of like humanity where we want to be, but Starfleet is still a military type structured or place, and following orders is pretty fucking important. So I'm glad they didn't gloss over it as like, oh, she's just dealing with something. Like, no, that needed to like come down with a firm hand, and I like the way that went down. I still like, man, they really don't gosh, Ortegas, they really don't want us to like her.
She was copy and paste from this episode. I'm totally interrupted you, and I apologize. But last week, you said something about how everybody's just all about, oh, I'm just good at flying. And I was like, damn it, Drew, now I can't get that out of my head. And you're just like, copy paste.
Yeah, I was like, gosh, they really just... it's like they don't know how to write her character. They don't know what to do with her character. And the writers have no idea. And it's just so frustrating because I feel bad for the actress, but I just, every time she's on screen, I'm bored to tears. I know what she's going to say. Like, I'm good at this. Like, watch this. Like, let's do the cool thing. Like,
we missed her flying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Encouraging her.
Yeah, I know. Like, why? What are you doing to her? She needs an ego boost. Like, I'm just like, oh gosh. Like, I'm over the I'm a hotshot flying. I can dodge rocks. Like, okay, cool. Like, it's not like you're flying the Millennium Falcon here, guys.
Damn.
Lay
you
off.
went there.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the Enterprise doesn't move like the
Right.
Falcon. You're not going to be able to show the Enterprise doing something extraordinarily cool. I mean, like, yeah, sure, they had the Riker maneuver or like the Picard maneuver and shit back in the day, which was cool. But that was when Star Trek was more like space battles were more like submarine fights. Now they've kind of elevated it, and that's how it should be. It should be like two ships kind of just flying slow, like Star Trek 2, like Wrath of
Yes.
Khan, like. Like that's how it should be, right? Star Trek should be, but they've made it more J.J. Abrams and fly-y, and the ship flies very like Falcon-y, and I don't know if I'm here for it, but whatever. I mean, they have to have the pilot. Let the pilot do their thing, I guess. I don't. That's my rant.
I've literally
My TED
never
Talk.
considered the space ships like submarines, and it totally makes a lot of sense, and now I can't unsee that. Tim, what did you think of the punishment and how number one handled it?
I thought it was a very good example of how somebody who is in charge should handle something. You pull the person aside separately, sit them down. It was a firm but loving, caring, directional approach where number one, with her bagel headband, sat Ortegas down and said, hey, this is what's going on. We can't have that. You did this on purpose. Called her out and held her to the fire about what she did and why. So I did like that, and I like the fact that there was consequences for her actions. It wasn't just something that was glossed over, like, okay, now don't go do that again. But there was definite consequences for Ortegas for what she had done purposely, and how fast she was flying the ship in opposition rather of what number one had said. I do want to say one thing though, in difference to what Drew had said about Ortegas and her character. I actually thought that this is one of the better episodes of where they showed her character being developed because of everything that she's going through. They were showing the fact that she wanted to be the obedient, I fly the ship person, but she was having these moments of insubordination and the anger outbursts and dealing with the mental emotional stress of all that she had gone through. And I thought it was a really good display of that. So I actually felt like in this episode, yes, they had some of the same, like Drew pointed out, the same kind of corny line. They did absolutely do that. But I thought that this one was probably one of the better episodes of showing Melissa Navia being able to be somebody with her character Ortegas, somebody a little bit more than what maybe they have let her be in previous episodes. And so I did like that portion of it, and I'm hoping that in future episodes, and I've heard rumors that there is going to be an Ortega-centered episode coming up soon, and so I'm kind of hoping that it's not the Gorn in the window related episode, but it's something to do with her personality and development and dealing with what happened in the Gorn, but not necessarily dealing with what happened with the Gorn. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Well, hopefully there's a reason she's so, hey, look at me, I'm really good at flying. Maybe that's what they'll explain. I think you two pretty much nailed it on the how Una Chin Riley handled it. I was in the military, and I was an Ortegas at some point, not obviously to that extent, but I thought it was perfect the way she handled it. They obviously have friendship outside of it, but she never led into it. When she spat out at her that she was going to go do some chain of command training, I audibly was like, oh, like, because baby, that was very Starfleet Academy military. Listen, you can't do that's a suspendable offense. Like you shouldn't be able to do that. And she handled it as such. And as she was walking out and caught her, I was so afraid that she was going to be like, girl, I get it, but you can't do that. She did nothing. It was full authoritative, like, this cannot happen again.
Right.
And Ortega's was like,
right.
But I really appreciated the way it was handled.
I agree.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say in difference to that, Michelle, is that I think whether it was military or not, I could envision that same type of reaction in an office setting.
I hope so.
Where that would be how I would want to be treated or handled in that same situation. If I was insubordinate to the man who signs my paycheck, and says, "Hey, this is what we want to have happen, and this is what we want to do," and I'm like, "I got my own ideas. I'm doing it this way." That you would pull that person off to the side, have a conversation with them, especially if they've been a loyal, faithful, hard worker all this up to this point. And you look at Ortega's track record that we've seen in the first 2 seasons, she's been just that.
Yeah.
She's been the Johnny on the spot, do the good thing. I'm flying the ship. I'm saving our bacon all the time. I'm doing all these good things. So she has this one, hopefully just this one, guffaw.
Yeah, but it's a pretty severe guffaw.
Oh, it is. I'm not overlooking
Yeah.
that she put the entire ship in jeopardy.
Yeah.
For no
She
reason.
played with She played with everybody's lives.
Yeah,
You can't overlook
and
that.
to be fair, and we can move on after this, but I think the way Ortega's handles it after she gets that news, I thought was really nice too. She said, especially after number one, she says, she says, this can't happen again, and she's like, understood, right? And like, because she could have like had like a tantrum and like, I was right, and fucking like walk out, like whatever, but she like message received, like I'm not happy about it, but I'm gonna take this like I should, like an adult, and move on. So hopefully we'll see how that all shapes out. But I like the response. I thought that was a great scene, and it's good. It's good that we're seeing that.
Something I'm really looking
Kudos all
forward
around.
to, hopefully next episode, is Pike talking to Ortega's. I would really like to see that conversation because of what happened while he was on Kinfori.
I don't know if we need that, but yeah, I hear you.
I think that it would be an important dynamic that we haven't seen yet, which is the only reason I feel like it could be important. Because we don't actually know much about Pike and Ortega's relationship, and if we're exploring Ortega's more this season, then we also need to explore her on a professional environment and see how she is with Pike. Just my thought.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of Captain Pike, though, and we've already mentioned it kind of, but his freaking love story.
Segway.
Because I'm awesome. Is his love story important enough to be carrying episodes on its own like this one? Tim, I'm going to start with you.
No,
Thank you.
It's not.
Drew.
And done. No, it should not be the main story. It shouldn't be the focal point of the story where we're going to save his love interest. And things like that, where that's, I don't know. Especially since I think both of them are dead here soon anyway.
Correct.
I don't really think it matters. I'm not trying to be like dark and bitter about this, but the reality is that she's got like she's her clock is punched.
Yeah, she's limited.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I understand the need so we can help develop the character of Captain Pike up to the point where he hands the ship over and we see everything that happened with the cage and all that. Okay, I get all of that. But I also just think that, maybe as much as we've gone into detail about it, we could have
Spit some
roll
time
it back
elsewhere.
a little bit. Yeah.
Drew, what
There's
do you
other stories
think?
that could be told.
Well, I'm on the fence on this. Here's what I don't like. I agree. I don't like. They keep dragging this out. This Gorn and Batel and the saving her again. Like, I'm like, okay, we did that last week. Here we are again. And here's why I think it's going to pan out. And I think and what we saw from Pike this episode was anti-Pike. This Pike doesn't break the Prime Directive. Pike doesn't go against Starfleet.
True.
Pike doesn't just like take the shuttle and fucking like go and like we're gonna like fuck off and disobey orders, right? Like he's very much a Boy Scout by the book, and that's what separates Pike from Kirk, right? Because Kirk would be like, yeah, we're gonna go save this. Like we're gonna break the Prime Directive, right? Like, and that's
Agreed.
like and like I like the difference here. I like Pike as the Boy Scout. But I think we need to have these moments because I think he needs to learn from his mistakes, which is why he's going to end up choosing to sacrifice himself to save all those people or whatnot in the future when he gets disfigured and almost dies. So I think it's leading up to those kind of moments, those decisions that he has to make. He's gonna learn that I can't change the future. I have to be who I am, right? So, and the episode didn't pay that off, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, we didn't even get a hint at that. We cut a little bit between, and I thought it was a nice scene between him and Batel at the end, where she's kind of telling him, "I know who you are. I know what you would try to do to save me, and she was right. I mean, she called him out on it, and he kind of listened, and they had a nice moment, and it's nice to see those heart. What I like about Strange New Worlds that it's different. What differs from old Star Trek is it feels more emotional, like emotionally driven, which I think is nice. And I don't have a problem with it having these really nice drama elements that Star Trek really couldn't hit home very well, or Next Generation or Voyager or Deep Space. They tried, but the acting, I don't think the level of acting was there, or the writing, right? But I think the writing here is a little bit elevated, that they can have these dramatic moments, and they can let the characters have these like heartfelt one-on-ones like you would see in like a drama, like an HBO drama or something like that. Not quite on that level, but you could see what they're striving for. So if they work, they work. If they don't, it's going to be a real bad miss. But here, I think it works a bit.
It's interesting. So last night when I was sitting down watching this episode, I could not put my finger on what I didn't like about this with Pike, as far as that was all concerned. But I think you just hit the nail on the head, Drew, that Pike is very much the Boy Scout. And this was very much a Captain Kirk moment for him, where he was just like, screw it, I'm just going to do what I want, which is not typical of anything we've seen from him up to this point. It was a more human moment for him, I'll give you that. Yeah. Because he's looking at the possible loss of the love of his life. But yeah, I was watching that last night, I was like, something was bugging me and eating at me about that, and I could not put my finger on what was bugging me. Listen, but I think that's it.
At the beginning of the episode, when Pike, Mbenga, and Spock are all in the medical area.
Bay.
Thank you. So when Spike and Pike, Spike?
Are we on Buffy?
I need some of her wine.
Listen, when Pike and Spock and Mbenga and Batel were all in the medical bay and they were discussing all of this at the very beginning of the episode, there's one time where Spock mentions this, exotic flower or whatever, and him and Mbenga are going over to the computer, and Captain Pike comes over, and Spock just starts explaining what's happening, and Pike just interjects, and he goes, "So this can save her?" And Mbenga starts this conversation that's kind of like, "Well, we think, but there's this, but there's that." I don't understand why, and maybe I can pull the clip into the video, but it was so un-Star Trek to me, because Captain Pike, like you're saying, it was so un-Pike-wise. Instead of sitting and listening to the options, hey, let me take respect and courtesy into what my crew members are telling me, he was just straight up, is this going to save her? Okay, cool. And like, it wasn't Star Trek-y. It wasn't even a Star Trek-y conversation. It was just emotion, let's get it, okay, bye. And I was like, there was like barely any science in that.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, the science in this episode was
very little.
I did like the ship stuff where they were like, we can drift and like look like one of the rocks, and I did like the fact that's like it did strange. Like, I guess Klingons don't have windows. Like, no one could like look out the window and see the ship flying by. But despite that, like, I like that part. Felt like you're in a submarine. You don't really know there's a ship by you, because unless you're doing the radar thing. But anyway, I digress. I hear you. The science there was a little like wishy-washy. Magical flower. Oh yeah,
science-ish.
Yeah, it was.
And now we have zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this zombie drug can cure your love. What? You're gonna make her a zombie? Maybe. Gosh. I don't know.
I'm so upset that this was part of the
Possibly.
Strange New Worlds season. I don't know. I don't know what it is or what it was. Maybe, are we allowed to talk about marijuana on the internet or no?
Yeah, you can talk about marijuana on the internet.
I might keep that in. Maybe I was too high. I don't know. I was pointing the shit out that I paused it at one point and looked at my husband and he's like, it's different. No, he's very understanding and encouraging. He's like,
Yeah.
it's a little different. I was like, oh, little.
Yeah, you were. That's funny. Listen, some things rub. Some people like different strokes. Different strokes for different folks in Star Trek, and that's okay.
Listen, though, out of all of these podcasts that I've done, have you ever seen me have such a attitude about something?
Yeah, I mean, you get pretty spicy around Game of Thrones stuff too.
Okay,
like,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, House of Dragon. I think there were a few. You get pretty.
Okay, fine, that's fine. But I don't know. Maybe Star Trek is so just deep to my heart, and I've just put so much of my soul into this new iteration of Strange New Worlds, and it's just really bringing me joy. Because not only, and this is about to get deep, but not only is it just about Strange New Worlds and my love for Star Trek, but it is a way I connect to my father. He is my Trekkie. He is the reason I like Star Trek and not Star Wars necessarily. We don't have any, we like both, honestly. Mm-hmm. But he's a Trekkie. Like, he has models and he has watched the original series multiple times, fully in it. And so that's why I'm in it. And it's a way for me to enjoy it with him. And then this episode comes out and I'm like, I'm embarrassed, for both of us. Like, what do you mean? We have zombies and yeah. It was not for me.
I think, if I'm even remembering, I think there was even a zombie Voyagers.
I'm sure there was.
So this isn't unprecedented, guys. I think you guys are hung up on the zombies, and I think you just need to let it be.
No, I get what Michelle is saying, but this isn't the first time there's zombies in Star Trek. I think there was even, and I think this is also. I think there was also, if they weren't zombies in the original series, I think they were really close.
There was something close.
I
know it's an unprecedented idea, but like I said again, I'm sorry.
But it just was kind of. No, you're fine. It's just kind of. It was just kind of. It was there. It's just
out of the series.
This is very much a filler episode.
Yes, out of the series that we are so excited about, saying it's Star Trek, it's this, it's that, and then it comes like that. So something that you said, Tim, just now reminded me. I did appreciate the forwardness of Scotty's storyline. Right, he had to be involved in the Ready Room meeting. And then he was like, Pelia told me not to freaking volunteer, and now I have to do shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm liking this unconfident Scotty. It's weird. It's kind of.
I don't think he's unconfident. I think he's too confident. He doesn't know how to portray that to his fellow crew members. Okay. He knows what he's doing.
He doesn't seem to have confidence in what he knows what he's doing. He had to be pushed in that last episode to be like, hey, the ship's going to blow up in 45 seconds in order for him to do anything. It's unless there's pressure, he can't perform. It kind of feels like he has erectile dysfunction or engineering dysfunctional disorder.
Or he doesn't want to step on
the ship's going to die in 45 seconds. Where's my blue pill?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The warp core, sir. No, I disagree with you because I think he's coming into this new ship and he doesn't know where he belongs and he's not ready to assert himself because he doesn't want to step on toes.
He belongs in engineering. What are you talking about? He's fucking an engineer.
But there's a chain of command on the Enterprise.
But I think that there's something there in the story with him and Pelia that has to be explored yet, and I think that is what we're seeing. If there's hesitancy, it's because of what's going on between the two of them, and the student teacher relationship. And I think that once they move past that, then we'll see the confident Scotty that we saw in TOS. But I think that they're working towards that and showing him to be a little hesitant, unless, like Drew said, unless he's pushed into that role, and then he's like, yeah, fine, I can do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about it, though. All of his stuff to this point has been out of need and pressure. When he was trying to save people out of from the Gorn, and then, or himself, really. Right now he's just working under pressure, and then eventually we'll get to the point where he's just like, yeah, fuck you guys, I know what I'm doing.
I guess I'm not into the tech or the nerdy, sheepish nerd Scotty. I kind of want the Scotty who drinks Scottish whiskey and curses like a sailor and it's just sort of I'll make magic happen and just fucking go do it, right? He doesn't
How does he gonna get there?
Well, I think I don't know. I feel like that kind of personality, it's always there in some fashion.
Okay, fair. That's a good point.
Those are personality traits that are always there, right? It's kind of like Kirk was always Kirk. He just becomes slightly
Captain.
more captain-y, right? Yeah. I don't know.
He
Yeah,
always liked Green women. He just got a chance to go after him.
exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
at least I have my
how
green
you
shirt
doing?
on.
So, and I have I have a few problems with how they're handling some of the original series cast, but we'll see. I mean, they got a couple seasons to figure it out, and it's tough. You introducing a new character and trying to flesh out backstory, and it's hard to fall in love with someone right away. I mean, because I remember I didn't like Mbenga right away, but now I think he's like one of the best characters on the show. So,
he confused me in the first season.
Yeah, I didn't really, and the same thing with like Hammer.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like Hammer, but then like they kind of gave him a really nice arc with Uhura, and I thought that was
my
nice.
boy Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mbenga's storyline was interesting to me. I was excited about it because we've never really had a fleshed out Mbenga. So I was looking forward to seeing how they did it with him and Nurse Chapel. I do enjoy that in the original series, it's always just kind of been Mbenga and Nurse Chapel, but now they're separating them and having their own, storylines. So I do appreciate that background for both of those characters.
Agreed.
I don't have any other questions.
that's fine. We can wrap it up. Listen, some episodes are going to be short just because. Now, it is what it is. We're
Fuck
gonna.
this episode. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You guys aren't. I mean, you guys. I don't know how many times you guys would be like, I don't like zombies. And
You're
like,
right, exactly.
Zombies are okay. Like we can repeat ourselves again, but we don't really need to. So unless there's something
hours
specifically
later.
you want to. Yeah, exactly. Zombies, no zombies. Yes, zombies. No zombies.
No, I do want to do.
Zombie get stupid.
I do want to do. Well, that should just go into our final thoughts. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
cut straight to zombies are stupid. No, I'm just kidding. But really, like, I'm gonna go off of what you just said. Like, we can't really continue to say zombies are terrible, but you think zombies are okay. Like, what do you guys have? What time? Let's just go ahead. What are your final thoughts on the episode?
Final thoughts: 5 or 10. 5 of 10. It was a filler episode. I'm looking forward to next week, so I can forget about this week.
Short, sweet,
Preach,
concise.
baby. Okay, Drew. What about you?
I didn't mind it. I sat down. I was entertained. I thought it had a lot of good Star Trek elements. I liked like the phaser battles. I like that the Klingons ran out of bullets. I like that they were better at hand to hand combat for the most part and could take on a lot of zombies. Where Kirk and Mbenga were like, fuck this, we're out. I like the overloading of the phaser. I like the Star Trek ship moments where like they're flying past the asteroids, they're trying to figure out how to evade the Klingons. I thought the D5 battlecruiser looked awesome. I thought the special effects were incredible. Like the ship looked awesome. Both ships. I can't wait. I want them to fight the Klingons so badly. Like I love when you see the torpedo at the end from the Klingon.
Yeah.
Like and they because like listen, as a Star Trek nerd, you know that the torpedo moves pretty slowly, so they have to be at closer range in order for that to hit. So the fact that the torpedo and they could like warp away and the torpedo it's like little things like that. They're getting Star Trek right in a lot of really nice ways. I agree with you. There's some plot issues in this episode. Zombies, it's happened before. I'm in it. I can look past it. It's a like you said, it's kind of one of those nice filler episodes. You need them, right? In a Star Trek show, they're just part of what makes Star Trek series awesome. Is like those random episodes that some people love, some people hate. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. To be fair.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Drew mentioned earlier about the setting the phaser, overloading the phaser and then throwing it. That was actually really cool.
That was very
hands
cool.
down. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool that not only did they overload the phaser, but then they showed the zombies exploding and I was like, oh, that was a lot of blood. Okay, all right, that was kind of cool. Yeah,
guys. I used to like play like a board game. Like there used to be a Star Trek like tactical game where you had like a ships and you'd move them on little hexagon pieces, and you would know that like I could outrun like certain battle like if you're a Klingon battle cruiser, you could outrun certain where phasers you'd have to be in close range, and like it was interesting. I think about that shit when I'm watching Star Trek, and I like nerding out on the technical aspects of. That's why I love Star Trek. I like that it's more science than fantasy. So I get why you hate the zombies. I do get it, but they had sciencey, wibbly wobbly technobabble to explain it. So whatever, I'm kind of like, you know.
And
it's always gonna
at
be
what point, as a young adult man, did you realize that women might be challenging?
Yes, really early, actually.
Oh, okay. While you were playing with your Star
Totally.
Trek
When I'm
board
playing
game?
with my nerd toys,
Very
that's
cool.
when I realized. Yeah.
Got it.
Want to see my photons?
Totally. Yeah. Don't make me break out my Star Trek collector cards. Yeah.
I was not ready for that.
Yeah. Listen, don't
You
make me
wanna
break
see
out
my
my
photons?
role playing book. Like,
Oh,
okay,
that's so
like
rad.
listen. I can go real. I can break out. I have technical manuals from Deep Space Nine, from Enterprise, from
Love it.
TNG. I can give you the blueprints on the fucking Defiant right now, and I can tell you how many where the showers are. Okay, like
Okay, well,
that's
you
how
and my
into
dad
it I
need to
get.
have a chat, is what I'm hearing.
Totally. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I want to see my photos.
Yeah.
Sorry, that really threw me off. All right. Okay. Well, thank you both for being here. Let's go ahead and wrap this hate show up. Where can people find you, Tim? Let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm the host of the FSF podcast. You can find us anywhere you get your audio podcast. We recommend Good Pods. Good Pods has been very good to us. We are consistently in the top 5 of comedy fiction shows on Good Pods.
Yeah.
So check us out there if you would, please. Or you can find us, of course, on YouTube, and our website is fsfpodcast.com. Go have fun with us. We like to talk nerdy.
That is F as in Frank, S as in Sam, and F as in Frank Popcast.
POPcast, yeah.
Yep.
There's a long story behind the naming and how we screwed that up, but we can get into that another time.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hey, Drew, where can people find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on Couch Soup, basically, if you really want to engage with me, or just anywhere on the internet, like on social media if you want. But come to Couch Soup. That's where the community is. That's where we're all hanging out. I kind of gave myself the title editor-in-chief. I kind of run the show here. And we make shows like this, and we make articles that talk about nerd stuff like this. So if you're into stuff like this, come check out couchsoup.com. And if you want to support us, because basically we're an independent, we're just nerds trying to make a living doing nerd things. And so if you want to support us nerds, and you want to become a member and come in to our little community and chat it up and nerd out with us, we'd love to have you. It's like-minded people, and it's a good time. So check it out, couchsoup.com, and if you want to become a member, sign up to our newsletter, check out our articles, and listen to this podcast wherever you podcast or listen to.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to participate in anything like this, you can always just join the Zoom. We have a member Zoom. If you pay,
Yep.
we can have a Zoom. We can have an AMA. You can ask us
a lot of fun.
questions. They're so much fun. They're every month. So basically every other week, you can see our faces.
Yeah, on the next Zoom, I'm going to show off my Star Trek my card collection. You guys are going to sit
and
there,
you
and
should.
I'm going to be like, this is a collector item. This one's worth $400. I don't know.
We also saw the fact that you grew up in a haunted basement with very creepy pictures. So
That's true. I did give you a tour of my mom's basement that had some weird ass photos in it.
So if you want to see some really creepy photos, you got to join these Zooms, guys.
Yeah.
And me, I am always here on Couch Soup. You can also find me on Instagram at WonderWoman4519 because ya bitch is a superhero over here with a mama and a full-time job plus Couch Soup. Just killing it over here.
Rocking it.
Anyway, that's it for now. Let's continue to discover new life. That means life signs, not non-life signs. Life signs, new civilizations, and we will initiate shutdown sequence from here. Live long, prosper, and keep it tuned into Couch Soup for more Star Trek goodness. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.